So in March something we get the result, right? It was not good for me. So till September I was not preparing for my second attempt.
Oh, nice. So you are like the last 5 months of your second preparation. That's what matters.
Yes.
That's Sneha Negi, the girl who cracked IISc, ISR, NVIDIA after her first failed gated. So in this video, Sneha will share her preparation strategy.
In my first attempt, I didn't have the proper guidance. I saw the strategy videos. Some did not work out for me. I figured it out for myself and fixed it.
Along with it, she opens up on the mistake that she did in her first attempt, that when she avoided, got all in the rank 80.
They have lecture videos of Ravindra Babu Raghuram. So I had those lecture video. I prepared from them only. But the mistake was...
Along with
So
it,
you are also someone like who was failed to perform well in your first attempt. But how did you gone through that adversity and what is your secret on staying motivated during your tough times? Sneha, thank you so much for joining this podcast and we are so happy you are here. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you too for having me here.
And how are you feeling at this moment?
I'm feeling good. Exactly, I just cracked ISRO. I chose, joining NVIDIA over ISRO. So I'm currently working as a system software engineer here.
Let's dive into it. There was one of my friends. He was actually, when I was preparing, he studies really well. He studies 10 to 12 hours a day. And suddenly, for some reason, what happened, I don't know, in the month of November and December, like, he was not able to get good scores in full length test. After that, he literally got demotivated and his preparation time was less. And eventually, he was not able to crack gate exam. But the intensity in which he prepared initially was, it is equal to the toppers that you can see right now. So you are also someone like who was able to perform well in your first attempt. But how did you gone through that adversity? And
I'll just tell you my motivation to give this GATE exam. My
Okay.
mother is an Anganwadi worker. So I did my schooling from a government organized residential school, Navodaya Vidyalaya. There we did not used to have any outside communication to get news other than newspapers. So one fine day I saw in one column that IITs are one of the most prestigious colleges in our country. I thought I should be there in IITs. After I completed my schooling, I gave the exam. I cleared JEE mains, but in advance, in first session, I was somehow able to manage to solve some of the question. But in the second session, I was pure blank. I didn't know after 15 minutes what to do in the exam hall. Some of my seniors or teachers suggested that I can take, coaching from quota and whatnot. But I thought it will not be fair on my mother to support me financially. So I joined a state government college at that time. Starting from my BTech first year, I knew that I, have to clear GATE and get into IITs, and I
IIT.
wanted to study in these colleges. So
how did you manage yourself to stay motivated?
I think for some people, you don't need, any external motivation, because from my childhood only, I wanted to earn well. I wanted to do well, to get a good job. So that was my motivation throughout. In my college, I knew there is no good placement. The only way out was giving GATE exam.
But have you been in any days where you feel demotivated during your preparation?
Of course, when I'm not getting good marks, first feel demotivated. But I figured out ways to come out of that phase. For example, if I am solving any mock test where I'm getting very low score, I'll Google it. What was the GATE year where got the easiest question? I'll solve that question paper and I'll feel like I'm able to solve this. There is still a good chance that I'll get a good rank.
now the next obvious challenge is distractions. Let's find out how she handled. Now, before moving on, if you're looking for a good GATE coaching at an affordable cost, I would recommend GATEwala, and they have courses in both Hindi and English. And right now there is a limited time special discount is going on for PW GATE batches. Don't miss it out. Batch D Super 1500 GATE 2025 batch 1999 rupees. Vijay 2.2 GATE 2025 rank improvement batch B 5400 rupees. Parakram GATE 2026 batch English and English 7200 rupees. Shreshth GATE 2027 batch English 9400 rupees. Parakram 2025 ESC plus GATE plus PSU batch D 11999 rupees. Shreshth 2026 ESC plus GATE plus PSU batch E 15999 rupees. Shreshth ESC plus GATE 2027 batch B 19800 rupees. Parakram 2.2 GATE 2025 batch B English and English 7200 rupees. rupees. Parakram 2.0 Gate plus PSC plus Place of Operation 2025 batch 11,999 rupees. PSC Non-Tech 2025 General Studies and Engineering Aptitude 4,499 rupees. Now also experience infinite learning with Batch Infinity from PW, offering Gig Kazana, PYQ books and more. Also, PW has 16 years topic-wise previous year questions with embedded QR code for video solutions, so do check it out. You can use my code RAGU500 to get additional 500 rupees. Now the next obvious challenge is distractions. Let's find out how she handled it.
So for me, it worked out. Good thing happened that COVID was there. So the only thing that I had to do was I removed myself from Instagram. I deleted WhatsApp because I did not want to know what is happening in my other friends' life.
Now, another thing is like some of the friends being into relationship kind of thing. So that is also one kind of distraction. So do you have any comments to talk about this?
I think that relationships can be good also. It can be possible that your partner is also looking forward for their careers and they support you for your careers and goals. So it's also good in a way. If you have cut off yourself from your friend, you should have someone to talk to, right? So that's also a good thing. But if your relationship is also a problem for you, it's toxic, or maybe the other person wants your time, but you want focus on your preparation, then you should cut off from that person also.
Oh, Rosie, I love this boy.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The bigger question is, Sneha is disciplined in her first attempt also. So what actually made Sneha score more marks in her second attempt?
I hope you watch IPL. Have you watched IPL?
Yes, this season I was frequently watching.
Oh, nice. So whom do you support?
I don't know. In a room full of people, if everybody is supporting Chennai, I'll support RCB. That's what I do.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So since you support RCB, it makes perfect sense. So I actually support Chennai, and you might know this time that that last match between RCB versus CSK, that is one of the nail biting match. Have you watched that match?
I might have seen that, but don't
Okay.
remember
Okay,
the
fine.
sequence
So
of events.
what happened was like whoever is winning, they will be going into the playoffs, provided CSK has a good net run rate. So even if they lose, also with a marginal run rate, if they close their target, then they can actually get into it. So the target is around 220, but if the Chennai, even if they lose and if they score 200 around this, like they can actually qualify. So when RCB put up a very great total, CSK started batting and it kind of went good. Okay, so around 4 wickets gone. Okay, so around then this Shivam Dubey, he was actually one of the impact players of us. We had a lot of hopes for him that he would perform. But on that day, what happened was like he scored around 8 runs out of 15 balls. Okay, so even if he scored 15 runs out of 15 balls, Chennai would have qualified, I believe. So I feel the thing is like what struck me after the game was like, see, RCB knows that Shivam is one of the danger out there. And the strategy they did for Shivam, the fielding placements and the bowling for Shivam is something like Shivam Dubey was not able to actually.
Oh,
So
yes. I remember. RCB won that day and then lost another match. So CSK people are like, if they have to lose another match, why did they win first one? I remember that match.
yeah, same thing. But the thing that is very notable for me is like the strategy they put against Shivam Dubey and they restricted him to 7 runs in 15 balls is something that is notable. The reason I'm saying is like anything I believe if one has a right strategy, they can actually crack anything, be it gate or anything. So like, you are someone who given gate 2 exams and in 1 year, like you are not able to, you failed to perform well and you had that lessons. So what was your preparation strategy in your second attempt?
So in March something we get the result, right? It was not good for me. At that time I was thinking I'll take whatever college I'll get. So I
Okay,
had this
okay.
in my mind that if I get, at least triple IT Allahabad, because I was not able to get IIT at that time. So I thought let's go into a college where I'll get at least a good placement. But
Okay.
till September, I was not able to get triple IT Allahabad as well. So then one of my good friend, she was also a topper. She was a topper in college. She got
Okay.
1200 rank and she
Okay.
was dropping out. So
Okay.
I thought if she is dropping out and if I choose any college this time and she
Okay.
get into IIT next time, I'll regret this because we used to prepare together for GATE exam.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, true.
so till September, I was not preparing for my second attempt. Okay.
Oh,
So,
nice. So you are like literally like the last 5 months of your second preparation. That's what matters.
yes. But good thing was in my first attempt, I had very detailed notes because that's what I focused on in my first attempt, just making notes and marking them up. So, in my second attempt, my only focus was to give importance to practicing more and more questions. Because what happens is with just the theory knowledge, now you will not be able to solve questions. What my strategy was, so when I'll find some question which I see the pattern repeating, I'll make sure that I understand the topic very clearly. Even I had notebooks for just questions and their detailed answers.
Also, I had this one question. Since you already had your first year preparation done, you are actually having all the first year notes and all. So at that time when you are starting that second times, do you need some time to revise it again, or like how was your preparation by that time?
Yes, of course. I, revised those lecture videos also in 2x first, just to, refreshen up my memory. And then I went through the notes as well.
Yeah, so your first step is to, revise everything. So you gone through the lectures and everything, so that you keep up to the point.
Right.
So like how long it takes for you?
I think for me, September I started, October and November. I tried to wrap up everything till November.
And now like during this process, how did you learn in such a way that it is helpful for you in GATE during this time frame? Because in the first time, like you mentioned that you never practiced.
So at that time, I used to give those subject-wise mock tests also. On the top of that, especially for GATE CSE, GATE Overflow website is also helpful.
Okay, you didn't solve much of the PYQs?
You'll get PYQs also in GATE Overflow website subject-wise.
So in this meantime, like did you take any short notes or such something like that?
So I started making short notes in the last 45 days of my preparation.
But also one more thing, like during your month from September to November, when you are actually revising your GATE portions and all, like let's talk about problem solving. Say during those time you might find some concepts very easy, but sometimes problem solving is challenge in that particular topic. So how did you become better at problem solving?
Sometimes what happens is we see some question, for example mathematical question, but I also had a reference book for PYQs where there were PYQs and there were answers for those PYQs, like brief discussion of that answer, how it. I used to not watch those books. Like I'll just say, oh, this is how it should be done. This is how it should be done. It feels like we are understanding it. We'll be able to do it, but it's not the case. You have to solve the question without seeing the solution, because if you will see the solution, you will see, oh, I can do this calculation and stuff like that.
That is true. Like when we learn something, we had that illusion of that, okay, we can solve this. But once we solve only, we will improve our problem solving ability. That's good. Practice more to get better at problem solving. So now it is a point in November, like where you had finished your portion completion, and now this is where actually the actual game starts. I believe this is the place where a person has to be very careful during their preparation, because this makes or breaks your GATE preparation. So what exactly you had done in your last 2 months that actually matters, because in the last 1 year you failed, and now this time you have to play in a different way. So what are the things you had done that gives you results?
So first thing that I tried to maintain was a schedule. From morning when I'll start studying, I'll start the timer on my phone. Every time I take a break, I'll stop the timer, and at the end of the day, I'll see that I've spent this many hours.
You are very careful with your time.
Also have a schedule for next whole week. What subject you are going to focus on tomorrow, and then day after that. You should not be clueless in the morning when you wake up.
So first step in your last 45-day strategy is like you are very careful with your time management. Second
thing is, now I have to be more careful when I'm solving PYQs. I need to realize my mistakes and then work on it. I'll solve PYQs and then I'll realize that this particular subject, this particular topic, I'm very comfortable when it comes up. So I'll make sure that next few weeks I'll focus on that subject more, and when I give the PYQ again, I should see the changes. That's why whenever I feel uncomfortable about any question, I had that experience that if I work on it, I'll do better next time.
Okay, fine. So you are like improve upon every performance. Like whenever you give a test, you wanted to make sure that the things shouldn't be like that the next time also. By the way, how many full-length tests you had given?
As far as I remember, I think 30 to 40 full-length tests I might have given at that time.
And how did you approach tests?
Yeah, what worked for me was that I planned that, for example, for 2 marks question, I'll give 5 minutes at least. If I'm not able to solve it, just skip it and then go. For 1 mark question, 3 minutes at least, and not able to solve it, then skip and go. I was able to solve most of the question in my first round, and if I'm not able to do any question in my first round, I'll go back, and most of the time it works. Okay, if you have spent some time in a question and you are not able to solve that at a particular time, you leave that, move on. When you come back, for some reason it comes to your brain that the solution of that question.
I came across this. There is a book called Mind for Numbers. So there the author mentions like whenever you come across a hard problem, like just initially try to solve for 1 or 2 minutes, then just go solve some other problems, and when you come back, your brain will actually subconsciously work on your problems back, so that when you come back after that, you actually get answers for that.
Now our director, if you look at IIT Madras director, he is actually one of the best directors of IIT. He actually failed the JW exam, but currently he is actually the chairman of JE exam.
Example, I failed in JE, I became chairman of JE.
So there is this problem with this new entrepreneurs that like when they initially invested in a startup, they actually won't earn as much of money. So at that time, professor told like, happiness is something you don't desire much. He always gives advice something like things are something that if you don't do, like happiness is the arguments that you don't enter. Wealth is the money that you don't spend. So why I'm saying this is like the same idea also, it resonated in many people, whenever I read many stories, they are always like having this idea success is largely the mistakes avoid. So they try to avoid all of the mistakes in such a way that they had the most probability of win. So you mentioned that there are many mistakes that you committed in your first attempt, and you changed that particular thing in the second attempt. So what are those things you changed?
The first mistake is that from the first year itself, I thought I'll gradually learn topics as they come in my semester, and by the end of third year, I'll be having good notes and I'll be prepared for GATE exam. That was one mistake. That this long span is not good. Any student who asks me how much time it's required to crack GATE, or any student who asks me that, ma'am, I'm in second year and third year, first year I should prepare for GATE, I tell them that please concentrate on co-curricular activities, gain skills, things like that. Because for example, what works for me was last 1 year when I dropped. That year I focused, on my GATE preparation, and I was able to crack it. But that longer span, I think, make me somehow, I was in my bubble that I'll be able to do it, but it didn't happen. Second mistake that I have done was I didn't have good resources, of course. So what used to happen is few of my seniors have prepared for GATE, so they had their books and they have lecture videos of Ravindra Babu Ragula. So I had those lecture video. I prepared from them only. But the mistake was that I thought just making notes, mugging up those notes, maybe understanding those notes will be sufficient to crack GATE with a good rank. But that's not correct, because I did not give more, importance to solving question PYQs. More and more mock tests I should have given in my first attempt.
Okay.
And other thing is I was kind of living in my comfort zone, because I knew some of my people shifted from test series that I was giving, and ACE test series was that. And my other friend went for Made Easy also. So she told me that in Made Easy I'm not getting good marks and stuff like that. But I thought I'll not give that Made Easy test series because I'm getting good marks here. That's something you will have to step out of your comfort zone also.
Let's say you are starting your GATE preparation now. You are going to choose a test series. How would you choose a test series? What factors you consider?
If anyone asks asks me what test series to choose, I always suggest them take 2 test series, because what happens is in one test series now, if there are 25 full mock tests, the question will get repetitive. So always try to find out 2 test series.
So what was the fourth mistake that you had done that you had actually changed?
I didn't have a good schedule. Like in the second time I analyzed my mock test very regressively, that what mistakes I'm doing, how should I approach any question, how much time should I give to a particular question, what section should I give. So I used to do 2 marks question first, aptitude first, then 2 marks question, and then at the end first 1 mark question. This I used to do. I figured out what works for me. Even I realized that when I'm solving questions on rough paper, I do it very roughly. If I come back to the question again, I'll not be able to start from where I left off. So I make sure in GATE exam we get these white sheets, right? I make those white sheets, and I was solving my questions like mock test on those white sheets, very neat and clean, that when I come back to the question, I can start off from where I. So the fifth thing that I think is important is like the stress management that you need to do, because for example in my case I didn't have any backup plan B as such. I didn't have a job in hand, so the only option was to get a good rank and get into MTech. So the stress level was good. So when 1 month before the GATE exam we get those when will our test will happen, the timing and location and stuff. So I got to know that my test will happen at 3 p.m. So what I used to do is after having lunch, I will always sleep. Sleep was necessary for me. At one time I started crying to my mother that I'll sleep at the time of exam. My mother was like, who sleeps at the time of exam? So that I also did, that I make sure in the second attempt that I'm giving my test series or mock test at the same time when my test was going to happen at the D-Day.
How good was your planning in your first time strategy?
No, I don't think my first attempt strategy was good. There were no strategy at all in my first attempt. That was the biggest mistake, I think. I think one thing I want to say is that at the time of GATE preparation, what happened with me was, and I used to sit day, long at one place and stuff like that. I gained too much weight at the time. Health issues will also happen. So people should also take care of their health.
So if you want to conclude this video with one good message to audience, what that will be?
One good strategy that, just find ways to keep yourself motivated in days when you feel low. I used to watch IIT's hostel videos. So I never thought of going to IISc. I always used to watch IT Bombay videos, and I saw one of their videos where there was a prom night there, and I used to think that it will happen with me also once I crack this. So things like that, to keep yourself motivated. What made you started this journey, keep that in your mind.
But I see the light from far away, it's down the line. Maybe I should not give up without a fight.